There's a special place that I like to go when nobody's home, to increase my understanding. My daily bread, that amazing. I'm talking about precepts, precept on precept, line upon line, precept on precept, line upon line, babe. I can't keep explaining, can't study for you. I can't think of nothing, wasn't nothing gonna change.
We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threat, as stated in Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to another edition of Precept Upon Precept. We're your hosts on tonight's Thursday Late Show. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Zadiah.
So the first thing we're going to do, y'all, is this is news that has happened. It's on everybody's news station. It's in everybody's house. Not just in this country, it's all over the world. You got people from India reporting, people from China, people from all over the world are reporting about New Orleans, Louisiana. So pull up the thumbnail on the screen. And I believe, well, Zidane, I know you got this covered.
Yes, sir. What we have here is the French Quarters in the background. We also have the Statue of Liberty, the state capitol, a representation of Washington, D.C., and we also have the people in the French Quarters walking the streets. But if you look carefully at those in the French Quarters, they're dressed with hoods on. You could tell they're from out of the country, some of them. Definitely Islamic statements, and also Esau is mixed in the crowd as well. But definitely sleeper cells, caterpillars planted. Esau reaps what he sows.
Right, and when you think about the reason why Esau, this is targeted at Esau. But what you're going to find is that some Israelites were killed in this. And this is why we got to come out of this world. But when you think about the word sleeper cell, a sleeper means that no one's really expecting you to do something, and then you react, and it's like, you ever see those of you at home or whoever been around people that race cars, they'll say, oh, that guy has a sleeper, meaning the cars will pull up to get ready to race each other, and one car looks like he doesn't have anything, just a plain car, but under the hood, he's got a fierce, powerful engine. They call it a sleeper. It's the same thing. You have these people that can be American citizens that moved here, might have been first-generation American citizen, and they have ulterior motives. So tonight we're going to get into caterpillars are planted. Esau reaps what he sows. So first, can you get me the September 11th real quick? It just came to me. Actually, about 5 minutes ago, it just came to me. But why did September 11th, 2001 happen? Almost everybody that's watching this show, you probably were alive at some point in your life, and you remember, you might have been a kid, you might have been, I remember I was early, mid-20s, and I was getting ready to go to work. I worked at a casino, and I'm watching the first plane strike. I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with this. And then when it's all people talked about, you know, why would somebody, a group of somebodies, try to take out the iconic World Trade Center? Well, obviously something happened in the past to make them absolutely infuriated to the point where they all died. Why would you risk your life for a purpose? Well, we're going to find out. You got something on the 11th? Just a little history, get a couple of videos. Okay.
Oh, shit!
like a plane crash.
Hey, Beth, what is that? Somebody hit the World Trade Center or the
Trade Center.
The World Trade Center.
Pause. This real quick. This is that was live footage, and you could tell it was probably, I don't even think it was a cell phone, because in 23 years ago, 24 now, in the year 2000, 23 years ago, in 2001, no, 24 years ago. Wow. Most people did not have good cell phone with cell phone cameras. To get decent quality footage, people actually would carry around small little cameras with them and camcorders with them. Nowadays, you can take, everybody's got an iPhone. Even the most lowly levels of smartphones have a decent camera. So this is an actual footage of what the guy looks when he's looking up. This happened damn near 23, 24 years ago. Okay, play on.
Trade Center.
Yeah. This just in, you were looking at
we have a breaking
obviously
news
very
story to tell you
disturbing
about.
live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed.
As we come on now, we have serious news of a major, very tragic event in Kuwait now. Incredible plane crash into the...
Pause. And this what was over every news station. It played nonstop, and as a result of that, at the I believe it was George Bush Jr. was an officer during this time, because remember Barack Obama came after him, and basically George Bush went to war without the United Nations consent. I don't know if any of y'all remember at home. It was a big deal. You had protests and everything all over the world saying, don't go, don't go, don't go. And not only did they go to Afghanistan, then shortly after they went to the Gulf War too. So, but why? Well, can you get Gulf War I? Gulf War I. Yep, no problem. So why is this so concerning? Because what is going to bring America's downfall? What is going to make Babylon fall? Get me Jeremiah 51 verse 1. What would make all these, America is the home of the free and the brave. Why would the home of the New York City, the largest, not the capital, but the largest city in the whole U.S., World Trade Center, the most iconic landmark, why would someone do that? That's symbolism for, read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon.
Now, this does talk about parts of this chapter during Babylon during the time of Jeremiah. But the scriptures are twofold. And it also is going into Babylon the Great. We're going to find out. Read on.
And against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me.
Right. Ancient Babylon was rose up against the Israelites. Let me just get it real quick. Go to read verse 10. Verse 10. Verse 10.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. The Lord had brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God.
Watch this part.
Make bright the arrows.
Make bright the arrows. Read on.
Gather the shields. The Lord had raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon, to destroy it. Because
okay, I'm sorry. I'm on 12.
Verse 12. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon.
And that's what we're doing today. The prophets of the Most High are setting up the standards. The Bible is being taught in Babylon the Great. Now, it's going to say, read on.
Make the watch strong.
That's why we have to have classes 3 times a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We must make the watch strong. Why? Because this place we're living in is a horrible place. Okay, read on.
Set up the watchmen. prepare the ambushes.
Come on.
For the Lord had both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon.
Now watch this, 13.
O thou that dwellest upon many waters.
That sounds very familiar. That sounds like what John the Revelator was talking about in Revelation. But remember, Jeremiah lived way before John the Revelator. So how are they seeing the same thing? This goes to show you when you go to verse 11, there are parts it is talking about Babylon, when Babylon fell for the Medo-Persian Empire, right? But it's also talking about parts of it's talking about Babylon the Great, aka United States of America. Now, we're going to come back. Is it 13 done?
No, sir, they got more on it.
Come on.
Abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness.
Now, we're going to come back to this later on. I want you to remember, now this was over, so what we're reading, this is over 30 years ago. Is this Gulf War number 1? Okay. There was a man, this man is called, this is Saddam Hussein, but this is when he was younger. So please play. Now, Saddam Hussein was the leader of a country called Iraq. As many of you know, Iraq is an Arab country in the Middle East, has a border of Syria. It is a small border with the Persian Gulf. Play.
Persian Gulf. Then, one early January morning in Baghdad, CNN reported that the skies
over Baghdad have been illuminated.
We all remember, some of you over 40 definitely remember this. We were watching it. Vietnam had certain parts that they did get footage, but this is a war we watched live on TV. You watched it like a video game. And obviously, if you compare in the early 90s to what today, the filming is remarkably better now. You said you saw that, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember? Tell us a little bit about what you remember seeing.
I remember watching it in my grandmother's living room on the television. They played it at night. In fact, if you watch channel 8, 6, or 4, at that time they would play the war at night like a television show.
Hey, and so think about it. If I'm an Arab, right, and you came and you attacked the country, they completely destroyed their army in like a week. It was crazy. Sir. And many, 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 many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of casualties of war that were non-combatant deaths, meaning they weren't combatant targets. They might have been civilians that got caught in the crossfire, whatever you want to state it as. If I am the son, if I was a child during that time, I'm just trying to think like some of these terrorists do, which, by the way, disclaimer, right? Disclaimer, like what Officer Zadiah read earlier. Israel United in Christ is a faith-based Bible organization. We're not for the Arabs. We're not for terrorism. What happened in New Orleans, what happened is a horrible thing, because many of the Israelites are being victims and being killed in these. So we denounce terrorism. Terrorism is horrible. You should not kill. Scriptures say thou should not kill. So, but we are going to show you why these things are happening. They're happening for a reason, okay? I'm showing you why did September, the first major, this is 9/11, 2000. A lot of people don't even know what year it is. 9/11, 2001. This is part of the reason why 9/11 happened. Play on.
That the skies over Baghdad have been illuminated. We're seeing bright
planes and missiles which send them.
And an explosive development near the Persian Gulf. Word that Iraq has invaded neighboring state of Kuwait, with fighting reported along the border. The residents say that they were awakened by machine gun fire and heavy artillery. For weeks, 100,000 Iraqi troops have been reported massing near the border. Arab countries have been trying this month to defuse this building crisis.
Now, why? Let's think about it. Pull up, I know I didn't tell you this, but just pull up, we're going to get to the show. Pull up a map of the Persian Gulf, and I want to show you that why were the Iraqis invading Kuwait? Why would Arabs beef with another Arab country? And we're going to find out. So there you go. So if you look at Iraq, look at the size of Iraq. Look at how small Kuwait is, right? And I wonder how, first of all, probably that land belonged to Iraq at one point. If you look at the position of Iraq, the part that borders the probably arguably the most important part of what should be Iraq borders all port cities on the Persian Gulf. And they left a little teeny bit of smidget at the top above the word, right below the word Basra, right? I wonder if Esau had anything to do with that. So if I'm an Arab and I'm fighting to get, which allegedly, well, is my land back, doesn't that look like it's part of Iraq?
Right.
So, but I'm showing you that Esau is behind every evil work. Got something, Thomas? Somebody, go ahead.
Yeah, Cap, I lived in Kuwait for 2 years.
Bring it out.
And I was also down in Kuwait City. Can you pull up the map real quick? I want to show y'all some. Cap touched on something heavy. The port, the Persian Gulf. The U.S. Army, we have a base on that coast. All right, not to give you all the name and things like that, but there's a post on that coast that the Kuwaitis want to shut down because they would say they wanted their stuff back. Because we had held it down for a number of years. We set up multiple bases in Kuwait, and they wanted us gone. And last but not least, they have so much money, those Kuwaitis. When they're born, they receive $80,000 a year just to be born a Kuwaiti because there's so much oil is in that part of the region.
So, we have someone that lived there. I wonder why they have established that. If we go back and look at the history of Kuwait when it was the inception, there's a U.S. base there, which we have a brother in this room that lived there for 2 years. The natives of Kuwait don't want the U.S. there. Again, Iraq is a huge country. Euphrates, Tigris River, the Fertile Crescent, one of the oldest places on the planet Earth. And the place which would give them the most economic benefit, which is the coast, which is the Persian Gulf, another country named Kuwait has been set up, even the Kuwaitis who are Arabs don't want the U.S. there.
Right.
Esau has his hand in everything that's corrupt. So it's no wonder why you have Arabs and terrorists did what they did on September. We don't condone it. We know a lot of black people died jumping out of the windows and the towers. Many of our people lost their life. But we have to, you cannot say, you got to know the reason behind it. And that's very important. That's why it's good to look at a map. Now, we're building up because we're now going to show you what happened this last week. As a matter of fact, yesterday. It happened yesterday morning at 3-something a.m., right?
Yes, sir.
We got a lot of content tonight. So let's just finish this up. We're going to get right to it. We have a lot of stuff to show you.
The White House is condemning the invasion, calling for Iraq to withdraw its forces immediately. The U.S. is also calling for an emergency UN Security Council session.
The Security Council passed sanctions, no more trade with Iraq, a boycott of Iraqi oil, a ban on arms sales, a ban on financial aid and investment. But
just to show you something, that Esau tactics, they never change. They were sanctioning and banning stuff then, and they trying to do the same thing now. They never change. That's all I wanted to bring out, just to show that they always do the same thing.
That's exactly correct. And they've been doing this since the 1700s when their country in 1776 came into inception. It's always been Esau. Wherever he goes, when you read in Malachi, his land is the border of wickedness. Like I said, like Zedai, when you were there some 15, 18 years ago.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever, and I don't know if you thought to ask, I know that did they celebrate Christmas, the locals?
Oh, yeah, they take on all America's customs over there. In fact, they were trying to shut them down because they were starting to take pictures and like models photograph and post them on the wall where they normally not used to showing that much skin. And once we came in with the democracy, Kuwait was like, y'all got to go.
I wonder if we went back to the 60s and the 50s in the land where you see Kuwait, if any of that was in play. Remember, those Kuwaitis are brothers to the Iraqis. They have the same blood. They're the same race of people. And this goes, give me 2 Ezra 15. It's going to go back. It's going to go back to this. There's going to be so much that these Arabs are going to take before the prophecy comes to fulfillment. 2 Ezra 15, usually it's 20.
You want verse 28, Cal?
28, yes.
The book of 2 Ezra, chapter 15, verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east.
Now, that's why they call it the Middle East. So really, it's the East. And Esau came up with that term Middle East. Read on.
Where the nations of the dragons of Arabia.
Notice it says the nations, plural, of the dragons of Arabia. Remember the dragons of Arabia? When you read in Genesis, Ishmael, there were 12 princes that would give the blessings, okay? And their blessings, they're all in that region, and they're blessed with oil. They are blessed, like Officer Zediah said. What you're saying is so outlandish, it sounds like the truth. If you, just by being a Kuwaiti citizen, you get 80 G's a year?
Yes, sir.
So you don't even have to work.
No, sir.
80 G's a year, you can live off 80 G's a year. So no wonder why a lot of these Arabs are able to come to this country and open up convenience stores and not work there, but their parents own it, so they get paid and they get a percentage of it. Okay, read on.
Shall come out with many chariots.
They are going, in order for them of the nations to come out with many chariots, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have to unite. If you're going to come out with a force, you have to have coordination. You have to have logistics. They're going to unite. Read on.
And the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth.
If the multitude of them is going to be carried, that means they're together. They're going to be carried. They're going to be swift. Read on.
That all they which hear them may fear and tremble.
They're going to be afraid. Why? Because now they're going to say, right now, they're saying, well, I see Yemen's getting mad. I see the Houthis in Yemen and Hezbollah and Hamas, and you got these guys over here. But Saudi Arabia is not doing nothing. These guys are not doing nothing. The Oman's not doing it. They're divided. But there's going to come a time when everybody's going to be afraid because there's no question what these Arabs are going to do. Read on.
Also, the Carmanians.
Those are the Iranians, the Carmanians. Read on.
Raging in wrath.
Why are they going to be raging in wrath? Well, if you pay attention to what's going on, the Israelis are looking, they attacked Iran. They attacked Iran infrastructures in Syria and in Iraq. No, not in Iraq, I'm sorry, in Syria. And guess what's going to happen? They're still talking about waging war, the proxy war, the U.S. through Israel with Iran. Look how big Iran is. It's a huge country with a vast military and hypersonic missiles. They're going to get mad. Why? Because what they're trying to do, when you read about Iranian social, political, they're trying to grow their economy. They're trying to become a modern nation. They don't even want problems with the U.S. That's why they rely on Russia. That's why they're a part of BRICS now. They want to move forward. But guess what? Because of the least of the flock keeps messing, plotting, America's going to be brought into it. And that's when the Carmanians, a.k.a. Iranians, are going to be raging with wrath. Read on.
Shall go forth as the wild boars in the wood.
A wild boar is fierce. If you try to stop a wild, I'm not talking about a Wilbur from Charlotte's Web. I'm not talking about that fat domesticated pig. We're talking about a wild boar. It will maul you, and you have to kill it. It's not stopping. Read on.
And with great power shall they come.
So, and they proved that because if you remember about 2 months ago, roughly, Iran responded with a fleet of missiles and drones that breached the Iron Dome. We did a show on it here. And they hit them with a couple of missiles. And they made a statement, we proved to you that we could touch you. And we didn't even send our best missiles. So this is all building up. Is that it?
You got more on it, sir.
Come on.
And join battle with them.
Wait, hold up. So the Carmanians, pull up the map again of the Middle East. The Carmanians, which are the modern day Iranians, and all of the Arabs, meaning the Egyptians have Arabs, Jordan has Arabs, Israel has Arabs, the Palestinians, Lebanon has Arabs, Syria has Arabs, Iraq got a gang of Arabs, Saudi Arabia got a whole lot of Arabs, Yemen has Arabs, Oman has Arabs, the United Arab Emirates has Arabs, Kuwait has Arabs, Iran has some Arabs, but those are the Carmanians. And guess what? There's Arabs in other parts of the areas, like in, is it Qatar? Pull up that little peninsula right there. Blow that up. Thank you. That's Qatar. Yes, Qatar. And that's a supremely rich, is the United Arab Emirates. That's where Dubai is, and Abu Dhabi. Huge, huge, huge cities of great, great wealth. And I would imagine, Zadiah, that Kuwait had some pretty powerful cities. I never really knew too much about it.
Yes, sir. I spent most of my time in Kuwait City.
Okay.
And that was attacked. A Scud hit Kuwait City one night. I actually was out there. But as far as the size of it, it's mostly a lot of water. It's a beautiful area, but granted, it's a lot of desert, but it's a very beautiful area, very clean. It's very disciplined people over there. So it's something you would have to see. One last thing.
Yes.
The cheapest vehicle you may see on the road is a Mercedes. In fact, their 18-wheelers have Mercedes symbol on the front of them. I'm telling you, they are very wealthy people. If you get a chance, pull up the benefits they have for being Kuwaiti. You're going to see education, all of that is just give it to them.
And again, it goes back to, let's just think about it. If I am the president of a country and a little teeny small little speck of a country named Kuwait, they are sitting on most of the ports to transport all. They control that. That's why the U.S. has a base there. But that land was always part of, Esau created the label Iraq, but that was always their land. And it goes back to, like Officer Thomas said, it's the same old strategy. They do the same old thing. Now, that being said, that's the buildup. The Iraq war number one, they killed thousands of people. They televised it on TV. And all the things that have done, and it's happened in the 70s, it happened in 1948 with the Palestinians, generation after generation, decade after decade of Arab frustration, okay, led to what you saw on September 11, 2001. Now, let's fast forward. That is the beginning of the major terrorist attack right now. Let's pull up number one. Something happened yesterday about 24 hours ago would have been Wednesday night. So it happened about 30-something hours ago, day and a half ago. Y'all pay attention. And everyone probably have seen this. We're going to show you, just review it and show you what's going on. Play. Now, Akiem, we can't show graphic stuff, right? We don't want to get a strike.
From a night of celebration to the scene of mass murder, Bourbon Street, in the heart of New Orleans' famed French Quarter, known for its tourism and revelry, was the target after a man drove his car into New Year crowds.
We're investigating this as an attack of terrorism.
The Federal Bureau of Investigation has identified...
For those of you, go back to the, I want you to show the street. Those of you who may have never been to New Orleans before, there's a street called Canal Street. It's a very, very busy part of, I would say, can we say the city area, the downtown area?
Yes, sir, that's downtown.
And Bourbon Street is probably the most popular street. If you look, that's Bourbon Street right there. We have been there many times. It gets packed. I'm talking it's like Manhattan, New York City. It's so packed that you literally are brushing people as you walk by. So that is actually empty for the most part. When he drove the truck there were people all both sides of the street. And by the way, last time we was on Bourbon, cars don't drive. They drive side to side, but they don't drive up and back. There's no room for them to drive. And I'm talking to you. Let's just play on and just listen how this guy did it.
The Bureau of Investigation has identified 42-year-old Samsud Din Jabbar as the man authorities say was hell-bent on carnage. From Camp David, US President Joe Biden, who spent the day getting updates, condemned the attack.
The killer was an American citizen, born in Texas. He served in the United States Army on active duty for many years. He also served in the Army Reserve until a few years ago.
Now pause. I want to get y'all to think of something. So the year is 2025 right now, right? Let's subtract 42 years. Okay. Minus 42. That means that man was born in either 83 or 84. So, yes, he was born in this country. Yes, he became a U.S. veteran and served active duty and then all of that. But you don't think he heard stories from his family. Hell, he might have had grandparents that lived. I'm sure he was not, because he's obviously of Arab descent. So what do you think him being born in 83, what he saw, what he heard, the stories he saw with the Iraq War I, could have had family over there. You see all the oppression that has happened and the destruction and the stealing of the lands and the murder of his people. Now, again, I don't condone what he did. I think it was horrible. I think he should go to jail, and well, he's already dead, and anyone involved should be locked up. But the point is, a lot of Americans don't even understand why he did that. They just think that he's just a psycho and just decided to kill people. There's a reason why he did that. All right? You got bring it up.
I was going to say something, Cap. They had some Israelites, some so-called black people that was out there that died from that, but this is what God's laws protect us from. I want to get a scripture.
Bring it out.
Give me get two scriptures. First, let me get Proverbs chapter 7, verse 2. Because if we would have been applying God's commandments, we would have been out there. And we know that majority of our people is the main ones out there on touring and won't be on Bourbon Street getting high and getting drunk. It could have the men and women that died out there, if they would have been keeping God's laws, they would have been protected. They wouldn't have to worry about this terrorist attack. Read that real quick.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7, verse 2. Keep my commandments and live.
And that's spiritually and physically. You will, if you keep God's commandments, you're gonna live. Now give me 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. Because this is what our people always get caught up in. We always get caught up in what the other nations want to do. We want to celebrate their holidays, and guess what? We always are the ones on the short end of the stick. We're always the ones that's getting shot up and getting killed by celebrating these other wicked holidays. Read that real quick.
The book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3.
Come on.
For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles.
And that's what New Year's is. That's the will of the Gentiles. We ain't supposed to be celebrating. We know that January 1st is not the new year. Nothing is alive right now. Everything is dead right now. Read it again.
For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles.
Read on.
When we walked in lasciviousness, lust.
That's all that is out there, lasciviousness and lust. I guarantee you somebody that had a baby out there. Read on.
Excess of wine.
Excess of wine. Everybody out there getting drunk is in New Orleans. You can get alcohol 24 hours a day on Bourbon Street. And matter of fact, anywhere in New Orleans, you can go in the store at any time and get alcohol.
They got drive-through daiquiris.
Yeah, they got drive-through daiquiris. Read on.
Revelings.
That's it right there. Revelings. The guy said it on the video. They was out there reveling. It's the Israelites. We ain't supposed to be out there reveling, enjoying these things of the Gentiles. And if we would have learned to apply God's commandments, we wouldn't have to worry about a black man or a black woman getting hit by these terrorist attacks.
Right. And look, and remind me to come back to 1 Corinthians 6. Since you brought that out, go to number 5, because we're going to show you that, and those of you who've heard, basically, a man an Arab man who was born in America, 42 years old, rented a truck, bypassed a police barricade, drove up on the sidewalk and maimed and killed 15 people and injured, I believe, 36 and counting. And by the way, when you get hit by a truck and you get injured, it's not like a little Band-Aid. Some of these people may have permanent injuries.
Right.
So he affected dozens of people. And Thomas's point is very good because, look, we know that during these times that even if that didn't happen, we're not supposed to be out there anyways because that's not the new year. And the only thing that comes out of it is lustful, sinful, even though in the world they say, oh, it's just having a good time, let the good times roll. That's not for the Israelites. So let's look at some of the faces of the people that died.
Also learning more about the 14 victims killed in this horrific incident. 35 others were injured. A single mother, a former college football star, and an 18-year-old aspiring nurse.
Go back. That is I believe it's a Mexican woman. She's an Israelite. That, maybe she's Asian. I don't know. Wait, play it again. I want to see what they say her name is.
Year-old aspiring nurse are among the more about the 14 victims killed in this horrific incident. 35 others were injured. A single mother, a former college football star, and an 18-year-old aspiring nurse are among those killed. Friends and families now remembering their loved.
That's an Israelite. And she was just graduated high school. I believe she was an aspiring. She wanted to become a nurse. And that's a perfect example of why and by the way, we don't like seeing our people die, and we want to help to prevent. And I'm sure that the parents of this girl and all her families wish that they could go back and have her not go that night. And we want to prevent our sisters and brothers from possible things like this happening, especially when it's on the days that God said that is the customs of the heathen, all right, the ways of the heathen. Play on.
Kathy and Louis Tenedorio lost their 25-year-old son, Matthew, and Cheryl Jackson is remembering her cousin, 37-year-old Reggie Hunter.
So Reggie Hunter is an Israelite, and I believe he was 37 years old. I think it's going to say that he had children. Play on.
Father of 2 boys in New Orleans who were out celebrating the New Year.
He was just a wonderful son. As time goes by, I'll see something that reminds me of him, and I'll break down. I know that's going to happen probably for the rest of my life.
To just go out and have fun, and you are murdered for no reason by someone that you don't know, someone that you've never done anything to, never seen before, no justifications, no nothing.
27-year-old Nicole Perez was also killed in the...
She is Israelite. Because some of our people have a little bit of slant to their eyes. This is a mother Perez. She's probably Issachar, I would assume. So you got to imagine, man, and I don't think her son died. Mom went out to go revel and have a good time, and innocently in her mind, and that little child, or maybe I don't know how old the child is now, but now does not have a mother. Mm-hmm. Okay? Those 2 children, Mr. Reggie, those 2 boys that he now do not have a father. And these are things that this is judgment of the Most High God. And it's happening because of the things that the United States of America, Esau, has done to nation after nation for decades upon decades upon decades. And it's not going to stop. It's going to get worse and worse and worse. And unfortunately, because these Arabs are wild and they're killing. And by the way, it's not just Arabs, because we're going to get into the next one. Is that it on that? Okay. Go to number 2, please. We're going to show you a little bit about the guy that killed in cold blood, murderous, terroristic acts against. And by the way, he didn't care who he killed. It's not like, I know he's mad at what the white man in America has done, right? That's why he's mad. But he took it out and killed he's not a black American, but he's a person of color. He didn't give a damn. He killed whoever he could kill. Mm-hmm. He just hates anybody in America. Okay, play.
Taking a look at now, this is 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar. We know that he is from Texas. He lived in the Houston area. We know that he was in the military for several years. We have a picture of him from 2013 as he was serving in the military. This
Pause
photo.
real quick. This is important. So this guy was a staff sergeant. That means in the enlisted rank structure, he Marine Corps is E6, so he's E6. Army should be E6 too, right?
It's E6, yes, sir.
E6 is you're a staff NCO, meaning that you are more of a manager. So he made it to a fairly high rank enlisted, and he was the IT chief for the 82nd Airborne Division. That's a pretty big role he had. So he had the trust of his colleagues and peers, and he understood tech. He's an IT, information technology chief. So this goes to show you that, and when you look at Rick, you might think he's a black American. No, he's not.
Right.
He's not. Bring it out, Thomas.
And I was just going to say, Cap, America's so stupid because you ain't no black man or no white man going to go and serve in the Iraqi army. They'll never let that happen. But Esau let anybody come over there because they served their purpose. But little did they know that he was a caterpillar. He came over here, he did what he had to do, and when they called upon him, he did his job.
And caterpillars do not have to be born in other countries. This guy has a history. We're going to find out as the news goes on, because just like they want to dig in let's see if they dig into this guy's family. Like, I noticed that nobody asked, hey, where's his father's and mother's from? No one asked that yet. I'm going to tell you something. This could also be a setup by Esau, using this guy. Like, Esau's got a sick mind. Because usually by now you would want to know his grandfather's was raised in Yemen, or there should be something, a trail.
His background. About
his background and all this stuff, because we know he was an American citizen, born and raised in this country. That's fine. But where did the family come from? Did they migrate from? And then that's going to tell a story. And if we do not get that story, somebody's hiding something. Just be very mindful. At first look, a lot of white people, I'm just saying the way white people think, that they would see that's a black American.
Yep. Right.
And when you, in that picture, I kind of see it.
You do.
But when you look at him, there's a lot of Arabs that are very dark.
Right.
Okay. Army Staff Sergeant, IT Chief, 82nd. Now, rewind the video. I want to see him with his, I guess it's a mug shot, I think. And you can see the difference. When you look in his eyes, you can see that he has, he might be mixed with African or something. But that dude right there is an Arab. Okay?
I ain't gonna lie, Cap. He look black. He look more black than he look. I know some black dudes that look like that.
He look a little bit like
you know
shit.
What I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it does, but I think that we're gonna find out that we're gonna find out a little bit more about the guy, and we'll see how Esau is gonna play this.
We know that he was in the military for several years. We have a picture of him from 2013 as he was serving in the military. This photo here, dated from 2013, and
when
he
you
was
look close, though, I know what you're saying, but what I know my people. There's something about him that I know he would. I just already know. It's not the last name either, because I knew Islam dudes that had Shabazz last name and stuff like that, but they look different. And if you get a chance to hear this guy speak, but anyways, play on.
An Army Staff Sergeant, and he was the IT Chief for the 82nd Airborne Division's 1st Brigade Combat Team. So we know he has military experience, but as far as the official motive goes and direct ties potentially to ISIS, when we talked to Congressman Steve Scalise, he said he was unable to confirm if those ties had been
verified.
Yes, thank you. Because there was that ISIS flag in the truck, and also we know.
Pause right there. Remember, they said there was an ISIS flag in his truck. Go to number 4. Let's look at that Islamic State flag. There's an article, all right? It's from Reuters. Reuters is a very good source, y'all. Please say we can get in. Okay. So we're going to do a little bit of reading. And by the way, this article is from 9:14 p.m. tonight. It's been updated. So it is about an hour and 5 minutes old. Okay. And by the way, this information all over the world, this is like the number 3 art thing that's trending throughout the whole world. Australia is reporting about it. India is reporting about it. This is major. And this is going to change a lot of things in public safety, in gatherings throughout all of this country. You're going to see. All right? Read.
Texas man who backed Islamic State acted alone in New Orleans attack, FBI says.
FBI, acronym Federal Bureau of Investigation. Anytime that it is a major situation like this, the feds or the FBI, they actually have already they've taken the investigation over. Okay, read.
A U.S. Army veteran who drove a truck into a crowd on New Year's Day, rebellers in New Orleans had pledged allegiance to the Islamic State.
Now, very like Officer Thomas said, they're not even shy with it. A reveler is give me that Amos that says, "Woe to them that call good evil and evil good," because what happens is Esau will take that and say, "There's nothing wrong with revelry. New Orleans is a town of revelry. Las Vegas is a revelry town. Memphis is a town. Beale Street is a town where you can get local reveling and this and that. Reveling is evil, all right? I like the definition, but I also want to get the scripture. Let's read the definition.
Reveler, a person who is enjoying themselves in a lively and noisy way.
Let's get some of I like them the synonyms.
Merrymaker, party goer, party animal, carouser, roister, good time boy girl, pleasure seeker, wassailer.
Okay. And also, what makes someone that normally would not celebrate in a loud way? What it is, it starts with the alcohol. You loosen your inhibitions, the marijuana, the speed, the ecstasy, all these drugs. That's what gets people that normally may be reserved to be very loud. And that's where we go. What stays in Vegas happens in Vegas, stays in Vegas. Now, give me Isaiah
5 and 20.
Is it 5 and 12? It's not Amos? No. Okay. All right. Read that.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good.
Woe unto them that call evil good. There's nothing wrong with going out on New Year's and getting drunk and getting, everyone else is doing it. I'll go out and we got, a lot of us, by the way, had yesterday off. So Esau set up days where he gives his workers the day off so they can go out and party and revel and do all of that, and then they can function and they come to work on Thursday. Or a lot of people, like at Home Depot, for example, they open late. A lot of stores open late on purpose because they know everyone's going to be partying and bringing in the proverbial New Year, if you could call it that. Read on.
And good evil.
Right, and good evil. What's wrong with you? You don't celebrate the ball dropping? Oh, God. And they make you feel guilty about the fact, like this one dude, today I'm in the store, and this old black, me and this one black dude, this other black dude, and he's on his wheelchair going by us. He's like, gentlemen, excuse me, gentlemen. He said, Happy New Year. So I wait for him to pass a little bit. I said, I can't let this. I said, sir, let me ask you a question. I said, you believe that? This guy's like 70-some years old. You believe it's a new year? Just like this. I said, what grows in the middle of this time of year? I said, tell me what's new about it. And I got him thinking. I said, you've been lied to, man. I said, the new year doesn't even begin until the first spring new moon. And when I explained it to them, he said to me, and I quote, yeah, but you know they have to do something for the commercialization period. I said, you're right. I said, but that don't mean I have to honor it. Do you? And then he laughed about it and wheeled his happy ass away. The point is that even though I spoke like that, anyone in my distance around me were like, this guy's crazy. Just by me saying it. And I was real cool about it, you know. But so Isaiah showed us that. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil. All right? So we have to come out of that. Now, let's go back and read this.
The suspect, who the FBI said was shot dead at the scene after firing at police, has been identified as Samsudin Jabbar, a 42-year-old Texan who once served in Afghanistan. He drove from Houston to New Orleans on December 31st. On the morning of the attack, between 1:29 a.m. and 3:02 a.m.
So you got to understand something. He was in Afghanistan. Remember, Afghanistan was the first place that they went to after 9/11, followed by Iraq. So he was on the force that probably killed a lot of Afghanis, right? And I'm going to say, I believe he is part Arab. I'll say that. And many of the people, like today's people that may be in the military, that may be Arab, you don't feel they feel some kind of way when they see 48,000 men, women, and children, or men, women, and children alone that are dying? Mm-hmm. You don't think that resonates with them? Because that's their spirit. They all have that thing, that jihadi thing, which is Genesis calls, and he would be a wild man. Okay? Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's read on.
He posted 5 videos on Facebook in which he said he supported ISIS, the Islamic militant group with fighters in Iraq and Syria, the FBI said. The massacre in New Orleans' famed Bourbon Street nightlife district during a holiday celebration has made for an unnerving start to the new year in the U.S., with law enforcement officials across the country promising heightened security for upcoming public events.
Cap, can I say something right quick? I just want to say that this is how you know that Americans, the citizens in America, are asleep. Because despite all the havoc that the U.S. government is doing in Gaza and the so-called Middle East, they never would think that it'd come to America. Mm-hmm. We so caught up in the American dream that we'll never think that a country would dare to come over here and do some of the stuff that we doing to these other countries. And now we starting to see what's going on. Now these Iraqis, they're not to be played with. And this just a little small taste of what could happen. Because Cap, all these brothers market, every camp that we go to in New Orleans is damn near Arab that stays there.
That's right.
We was just on the West Bank and we was teaching and the Arabs turned the damn sprinklers on us.
Right.
Arabs have business ventures throughout this country, and they are the sleeper cells. We're going to get that in a minute before break. We just want to show you a little bit more about this article. Look at the mind of this guy. He's a wild man.
Finish. This was an act of terrorism, Rhea said. It was premeditated, and an evil act. The FBI was still investigating Jabbar's path to radicalization.
And that's what they don't understand. What was his path to radicalization? Number one, again, I want to see where his family background. And this is the reason why I don't think he's black. Let me tell you why. Because if this dude was black, he'd fight everything with his church, everything with what everything.
Yeah.
Oh, black American does this. They would say black truck driver does this, black man this, black man this. There's something they're gonna try to cover up. Mm-hmm. This guy was born in 83, roughly. I believe his parents are of Arab. He saw what happened in all of the buildup. He saw what happened with the Iraq war. He was like 8 years old when he saw that war on TV. Okay? And then later on, he served in the army. He saw what happened with the Afghan war, and he served during the time of the Iraq war. He knew that thousands upon thousands of Arab people were killed. And you don't know where his path to radicalism is? Well, many of the Arabs feel the same way. Why? Because they love their people. And again, we are 100% pro-God. Look, the Arabs, irrespective of the nation they come from, they had the 12 tribes of Israel in a terrible slavery for well over 1,000 years. They treated us horribly, and to the point where now there's still Arabs to this day in the top of the Mediterranean Sea, Libya, and other places like Algeria, that area up northern Africa, where Bishop taught a couple classes, where there's still slavery in 2023 and 2024 going on. So the Arabs, they're getting judgment. But at the same time, we read in 2nd Ezra, they are a wild man. They're going to remember their nature, okay? Let's finish this up. We'll go to break.
Lawmakers in the U.S. House of Representatives were told at a briefing by David Scott, an assistant director in the FBI's Counterterrorism Division, that Jabbar was not on any government watch list, and the Bureau had found no evidence he was directed by any foreign individual or group.
It goes back to a caterpillar. Get me Jeremiah chapter 51. This is a sleeper. This guy is a sleeper. Yes, we're going to come right back to that. Yes, sir. Before we go to break. Get Jeremiah, is it 17? 14. Yep, 51 and 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 14. The Lord of hosts had sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars.
Read it again.
The Lord of hosts had sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars.
So what is that talking about? Get an image of a caterpillar, please. An image of a caterpillar. Get me Revelation 17. Let me look at it. I want the part where it says the whore with many, it sits on many waters. I think it's Revelation 17, 3 or 4. Let me look at it.
You want verse 1?
Yes, that's it.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 1.
Remember, John lived during the Roman Empire, which was hundreds and hundreds of years after Jeremiah the prophet lived. They're talking about a similar thing. Read Revelation.
Yes, sir. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
The judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Now, read verse 4 and 5 of Revelation.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color.
That's the same woman in verse 1. Read on.
And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Got all kind of riches. How did they get the riches? Because Esau stole everything. Created a super incredible military with over 900 bases throughout the earth. And they steal, pillage, loot, lie, espionage. Read on.
Having a golden cup in her hand.
Come on.
Full of abominations.
And the reason why she's so rich, this whore, is because they use deceit to get the riches, okay? And that's why it's full with abominations. Read on.
And filthiness of her fornication.
Now watch this. Verse 5.
And upon her forehead was a name written.
Now this is all explaining about this woman that sitteth upon many waters. Read on.
Mystery, Babylon the Great.
Babylon the Great. Read on.
The mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
Right. Now, this is very important. I go back to Jeremiah 51, verse 13 first.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters.
O thou that dwellest upon, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Read it again.
O thou that dwellest upon many waters.
Many waters. Read on.
Abundant in treasures.
What?
abundant in treasure.
It's saying the same thing we just read in Revelation. The rich cup was filled with abominations. Now verse 14.
Verse 14. The Lord of hosts had sworn by himself, saying.
So this is the point, is that everything that's happening with this tragedy in New Orleans, with the tragedy September 11th, with the tragedy with the New York nightclub shooting that just happened, as well as the Tesla Cybertruck that blew up and hurt like 6 people in Las Vegas at the Trump Towers. Read on.
Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars.
He's going to fill Babylon up with caterpillars. Pull up the video of a not that one, the first one you had, the picture. A caterpillar, I like that. A caterpillar starts off with very, very small. And what it does, this is excellent, it eats things up from the inside. And that's what's going on. This guy, the guy that mowed those people down in New Orleans, that guy was a sleeper. He's doing all his work from the inside. That's what's going on. Y'all got to see it. Read it again in 14 again.
The Lord of hosts had sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars.
Go verse 12. Let's see who's talking about.
Verse 12. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon.
Read it again.
Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon.
That's what we're talking about. Same thing where it says Babylon the Great. It's the same thing. Oh, shoot. Okay. All right. Listen, brothers and sisters, thank you. We're going to go to break. We're running a little bit behind. When we come back, we're going to continue to show you what happened in New Orleans, as well as there was another terrorist attack that happened the same day, and a third one that happened in New York City at a nightclub, all within a 24-hour period on the so-called New Year. So y'all stick around. We got about another hour's change to go. Enjoy our breaks. Shalom. Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. My name is Captain Shem, IUIC New Orleans. Help us to grow. YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notification. And now it's even easier, y'all.
Hey, and also part of New Orleans camp, we got the community cleanups. Cleaning up our neighborhood one at a time.
What y'all waiting for? Subscribe.
What are you waiting for? Subscribe! Have a good vibe. There's so much wrong going on in the world, but somehow we keep it all smile.
Subscribe and follow us on all social media accounts. We got TikTok, we got Twitter, we got Rumble, and YouTube. Make sure y'all follow IUIC New Orleans. Shalom.
Hey, also, we got flyer missions every day and also camp videos. Check us out, IUIC New Orleans.
So remember, go to our YouTube page, subscribe, like, share, and don't forget the QR code. When the QR code comes out, don't forget to take your phone out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why isn't it done? Shalom, Israel.
Good drink, can't I get out just to have a good time? That's why we say, all praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High.
Shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless Bishop Nathaniel here. Hey, March 2025, we're going to have a Land Blitz fundraiser. So what I need you all to do is hit the QR code, whatever that thing is right there, fill it out on all our social media platforms, because we blitzing. We need this land. We got to get this fundraiser done, Israel. I'm trusting you. Get it done.
Cap, what's a Land Blitz fundraiser? Exactly what it is. We blitzing for the land. One day, with a large goal, we're going to raise the funds for the land. That's my goal. That's my mission, and we're going to make it happen. And I need your help to get it done. There's a link on the Bishop's Instagram and all of our social medias. Click on that link and fill it out. What you're going to do is you're going to estimate what amount of donation you can make on this one day. On that day, you can also make random donations. But those of you that are watching this video now, we want to get an estimate of how hard we're going to have to go when we blitz. There will also be an in-house event. Y'all remember the Journey to Freedom? This is going to be bigger and better, live from Atlanta. You better get your tickets now, because probably after this announcement, it's going to be sold out. Only 400 tickets. But guess what? All the funds are going to the land. So get it now. Get it now.
Hey, yeah. Bounce with me now. Yeah.
Shalom, Israel. We just had a wonderful community cleanup where we helped our people appreciate that, according to Genesis 4:9, that we are our brother's keepers. Along with that, we were able to pass out many flyers that helped the northern and southern tribe learn about Luke 1:68, that we got a Savior coming to save our people.
Talking, because we teach on the streets, but we want to show everybody by our example too. Now we ain't just talking, we out here getting our hands dirty, you know.
Alcoholic when my daddy was. Big bro gone, he was selling drugs. Little sis cut her hair, now she blind to us. How the hell am I supposed to say I'm proud of her? On the flip side, she done graduated college. Now she look at me like, damn, big bro.
And
I ain't even
with
see you
that,
on the
we
stands,
say,
big bro.
shalom.
She was a fan, big bro, but she don't know the life I live, the life I tried.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome back to Precept Upon Precept. Real quick, put up the thumbnail, y'all. We want to show you Sleeper Cells. The name of the title of the show is Caterpillars Planted, Esau Reaps What He Sows. And you see in the middle, there is a guy strapped up with a backpack walking in the center stage. He is a sleeper. Then you see the people of all on, they look like they're in a dead estate on the side, but all different people partying on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. You can see from the old French-style houses, and then you see all the background, how America, D.C., the Statue of Liberty, and you see that caterpillars have been planted. We showed you the pictures of a caterpillar that they eat their host from the inside out. This guy, Jabbar, was born and raised in this country. He does have Muslim origins, and he also served in the U.S. Army and made it to Staff Sergeant in the 82nd Airborne as an IT chief. So he had notoriety in the military to a certain extent. This article that we pulled up before, it was last updated at 9:14 during the break. Our tech guy was trying to find something. It just got updated about 3 minutes ago. So they changed some of the information in here. So we're going to read kind of where we left off the best we can. There you go.
Jabbar's half-brother was also searching for answers, saying Samsud then Jabbar had been struggling to get past a recent divorce, but that he showed no signs of anger just weeks prior to the attack. He was smart, funny, charismatic, loving, compassionate, humble, and literally wouldn't hurt a fly. Abdar Rahim Jabbar told Reuters in an interview at his home in Beaumont, Texas.
Now, get Genesis, because this is the Arabs' nature. These sons of Ishmael, they have a different spirit on them. And we're going to read about it. Matter of fact, get 16 and verse 1, and we're going to jump.
The book of Genesis, chapter 16, verse 1. Now Sarah, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. And he went into Hagar.
Because Sarah couldn't give Abraham children, he had a handmaid named Hagar. And Abraham had sex with her. Okay, read on.
And he went to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarai said unto Abraham, my wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into
I'm sorry,
thy...
I apologize. It's Abram, because Abram's name was changed to Abraham. So read on.
My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judged between me and thee.
Now, so that's the background, the history. Hagar was Ishmael's mother, and he came and she was cast out. But the Lord still read verse 11 and 12.
Verse 11. And the angel of the Lord said unto her, behold, thou art with child.
Not Sarai, but Hagar. The angel of the Lord was dealing with Hagar. Read on.
And shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael.
Right, read on.
Because the Lord had heard thy affliction.
So, did Ishmael become the chosen seed? No. But they did get, his line did get a blessing. It's going to tell you. Read on.
Verse 12. And he will be a wild man.
Wild. How wild? That he would turn during the New Year's Eve celebration. Actually, it was New Year's Day. It was like 3 a.m. Bypass a police barricade, break the law, drive on the sidewalk, run over almost 45 people, killing 15, seriously injuring 36 and counting. That's how wild. And then this is how wild, even after he stopped the car and crashed the car, he jumped out, had IEDs in his truck, body armor, and then came out and got into a firefight with a gun with the police. That's how wild the seed of Ishmael is. That's how wild he is. Read it again.
And he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man.
And that's the thing why Officer Thomas brought out earlier. We as the Israelites, we have to understand, he's so crazy and wild. He don't care who he kill. He's going with the purpose. If he could look at each individual, what would be the purpose of him killing a black American man? What did a black American man ever do to Arabs? He don't care. he's trying to do as much damage to America as possible for what they've done. And he'll blow up Chinese Americans, black, he don't care. Because he's wild. His hand will be upon every man. Read on.
And every man's hand against him.
That's why everybody is bombing the crap out of it. I hate to say it like that. All these countries are standing by and watching what's happening in Gaza. The Irish, well, if the Irish really cared, if Esau, the Irish really cared, why don't you send your fighter jets over there? You got a military. Turkey was condemning it. Turkey. Turkey's got the best drone military in all of NATO. You could fly your jet. Why don't you go bomb them and defend the Arabs? Saudi Arabia is one of the richest countries. Why don't you send people over? Because guess what? Everybody's against Ishmael. But that's why second edges is so important, because enough of them is going to say, brother, enough is enough. We must rise. And it's going to be crazy. People going to fear. Read it again.
And every man's hand against him.
Every man's hand against him. That's what God said. Read on.
And he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
Even Arabs will tell you they know they're the Ishmaelites. All that area in the Sinai Peninsula, all the way over to the Arabian Peninsula and the Persian Gulf is where he dwells. Okay, now, let's read the article.
Samsud bin Jabbar had recently renewed his Muslim faith after abandoning it in his 20s and 30s, his half-brother said.
So that proves to you that in his in his teenage years, his faith he was a Muslim. Something happened around the time when he joined the military. He lost his Islamic roots. Well, he remembered them at 42 years old. He remembered them when he had that wild nature come upon him. He was reinvigorated with his faith. And Ishmael, his faith is he's got a blessing and he's a wild man. Okay? I'll read on.
He appeared to have made a series of religious audio recordings 11 months ago that contained radical views on the evils of music, as well as more mainstream Islamic views such as condemning drugs and alcohol.
There's nothing wrong with that. Any so-called religious organization should, any church or mosque should condemn drugs and all that, okay?
Abdul-Jabbar confirmed to Reuters that the recordings posted on the SoundCloud platform were of his half-brother.
Okay, read on.
Music is the voice of Satan. Satan's voice is also the misleading of people from Allah's way. Samsud bin Jabbar says in one of the recordings.
But let's think about how crazy Ishmael is. You're saying that music is bad and of Satan, which we agree, but then you decide to murder and mow down people in a public venue where they're celebrating. So you say it's evil, but yet then you take justice in your own hand and you kill people, and then you try to kill law enforcement. That's showing you that spirit on him is a wild man. His hand is against every man. Okay? We can get out of that.
Yeah, one more thing I wanted to show on that, Cap. Go scroll up. Because now they're trying to save face. Go down. I want to show you the part where what his brother said. Scroll down. The other way. Yeah, go up. Right there. Read that part right there. He was smart.
He was smart, funny, charismatic, loving, compassionate, humble, and literally wouldn't hurt a fly.
Now, this is the brother's, this is, what his name is again? Don Jabbar's brother speaking on behalf of his brother. Now, this dude was in the army. He was in Afghanistan, right? He fought in the war, right? His brother saying he was smart, funny, charismatic, loving, compassionate, humble, and literally wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, you can't have all those characteristics in being Esau's war.
Right.
You can't be like that in Esau's war. You got to be fierce and a lion out there to go out and kill people who ain't never did nothing to you, showing you they trying to save face for this dude, and they don't know what it's coming from. Well, I know where it's coming from. Let me get one script. Let me get Job chapter 33, verse 14. Because it was nothing but the Spirit of the Lord that put it in him to do what he had to do. He drove 6 hours from Houston all the way to Bourbon Street just to run over 40 people, kill 10, and then get shot, get killed. Job 33, verse 14. Read that.
The book of Job, chapter 33, verse 14. For God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceive it not.
Read on.
In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men.
Read.
And slumberings upon the bed. Then he openeth the ears of men.
God opens the ears of men. Read.
And sealeth their instructions.
God sealed his instructions and told him to go do this on Bourbon Street, to go and murder these people. It took him 6 hours and he died probably in 5 minutes.
And that's heavy because the Most High, remember we read before in, where was it we read before? In Jeremiah. Go back to Jeremiah. It says the Lord, that what you said is heavy. That ties, go back, Jeremiah 51 verse 12. Look at this. Let's get Jeremiah 51 and 12. The Most High is telling you, let me get it. 51. Watch what the Most High says right here. 51, is it 12? Let me look at it. No, let's see here. Yes, verse 14.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, verse 14. The Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying.
So the Most High swore by himself, right? Now go to verse 15.
Verse 15. He had made the earth by his power.
So he made the earth by his power. Read on.
He had established the world by his wisdom.
So how does he establish the world by his wisdom? He puts it in man's minds what to do. How do you think certain wars, how do you think revolutionary wars started? The Most High said, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. How do you think, I remember in ancient Greece, there was a battle of Troy with the Trojan horse. He put them all in the minds to do all of that, all throughout history. And this, what he did to put in that man, to do what he did in New Orleans, is going to change history in this country. To the point where the Super Bowl is coming up. Watch how it changes it. The Sugar Bowl was played today. They postponed it because they was worried about safety, as they should be. Why? Because there's crazy guys out there like this. Most High, through this, is going to change history going forward. Okay? And that's, like we read in Job, the Most High's counsel. The Most High, through wisdom, he creates the earth. He creates everything. He created the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, things that are not yet done. So something else is going to happen. And we got to understand the Most High is behind all of that. Now, we're running out of time. There's an article that I want to show you that tracks history of after post 9/11 terrorist attacks. It is number 6. I think it's, let me see something. Yes. So this is a lot. I'm not going to go over everything, but I want to show you go down to, no, scroll up. Do the main tabs. Don't break all that down like that, please. Go to the top. Start with, the top of the tab. Let's go down a little bit. Right, terrorism, the first one, the first major tab. Click that. Okay, now it's a little bit of reading, but it's important to know. Let's read this. Do the best you can.
Terrorism cases 2001 to today. Since 9/11, hundreds of Americans and people residing inside the United States have been charged with jihadist terrorism or related crimes.
What you're going to find is surprising that many of the jihadists were American born, American raised. Okay? And this is very important. Don't show me. Show the screen. Read on.
Or have died before being charged, but were widely reported to have engaged in jihadist criminal activity.
Right. Like the guy that just died. He wasn't charged. They killed him. Okay? And he carried that out. Read on.
The rise of ISIS has brought an unprecedented surge in terrorism cases. Through there have been cases every year since 9/11.
And that's why at the beginning of the show, we showed you September 11th, 2001, and we showed you Iraq War, the Gulf War I. We showed you, we mentioned things that have happened in the Arab world where Esau literally has been pillaging, destroying, and breaking apart families for decades. Okay, read on.
As illustrated below, as the years have passed since the peak of ISIS influence, the number of terrorism cases has declined.
Okay, now let's look at this. So this is looks like a line graph. So I'm just going to read it real quick. It says cases include individuals who are charged with or died engaged. Did you read that part? Did I?
No, sir. I can read it for you.
No. Let me just read it. So
yes, sir.
In jihadist terrorism or related activities inside the United States, and Americans accused of such activity abroad. Years indicate. So we're looking at the years. Okay, years are going to show you when we scroll down. Real quick. Let me read this real quick. Years indicate the year that individuals were charged, or if they were not charged, the year they died. And so you see that the charged is in the teal, blue is 8 charged outside, and 40 are deceased. So you can see, scroll down, and look at 2016 and 2017. Look at the rise. And I don't know if let's see who's paying attention. Why do you think the rise dropped after 2017? Something happened historically that one particular person, Donald Trump. Trump came in, he put a ban. If you from this country, like you mentioned before, Thomas, hey, Trump sees things like a businessman. Why are we allowing people from this country, ban them? They can't come to this country. And that's why you see the drop in, but it's still going on, right? But that's when it peaked. And it started right after 2001, there was virtually nothing. Right after that, look how it went up. Look how it went up. And remember, in 2008, when Barack Obama did all that bombing, it went down for a little bit. And then in 2010, it shot right back up. So there's a correlation between when America does dirt internationally, okay, and the crimes and the jihad activity, terrorist activity that happens, or was attempts that were thwarted, okay? Scroll down. Okay, go back to the main tab. Go to the second to the last one. If you can close that. Yeah. So go down to, let me see. Why do they engage in terrorism? Scroll down. Motivations. Okay, social media. This is important.
Yes, sir.
Social media changed how people could become influenced.
The importance of social media. The rise of social media, as well as the use of the internet more broadly to disseminate propaganda and connect people to extremist groups, including encryption, has reshaped the jihadist scene.
If you go back to 1939 through about 36 to 39, the way that Hitler came into power is they played on Germany's, I'm just for your history, guys, Germany after World War I was taxed. They were taxed. Inflation was through the roof. Hitler tried to unite Germany. Now, Hitler was a devil, but what they used to do is drop, the point I'm about to make is that they used to drop flyers out of planes. They used to do many tactics. They would get on a battlefield and they would play music and they would try to solicit soldiers and use different tactics. Nowadays with social media, it's a whole different war. And this is why with TikTok, all these quick 30-second, 2-minute videos, things are able to get dispensed, and particularly since the inception of the modern iPhone. Google when Apple first came up with the iPhone, because that's when everything changed.
And Cap, that's to your point. It even said that the brother who killed them, not the brother, but the dude who killed all the people in Bourbon Street was making stuff on SoundCloud.
Right. Yeah. Hell, yeah. SoundCloud is a platform where you can make music, okay, and publish basically tracks. All right. And I don't think it costs much at all. I think you can do it damn near for free. Okay, look. So yes, there were other smartphones a little bit before iPhone, but iPhone changed everything. So you really think about, I don't know if you looked before. After 07, if you look 08, if you look how the spike went up on that last graph, it had a lot to do with the iPhone. Because iPhone, I don't know if you remember, they had a thing called the iPad. They had an iPod before they had an iPhone. The iPhone now, you could text, type, and watch videos. That's when YouTube became very big, around 07, 06, right, 05. And now you could video, you could record YouTube videos. That was the beginning of the social media empire around the maybe 07, 06, right around there. So now keep that in mind, and let's read that.
Many extremists today either maintain public social media profiles displaying jihadist rhetoric or imagery, or have communicated online using encrypted messaging apps. The percentage of cases involving such online activity has increased over time.
Now, so let's look at the corresponding, let me read this. 52% of extremists maintained a social media profile with jihadist material or utilized encryption plotting since September 11, 2001. Now, let's see. Okay. So I was surprised. I would figure that, so very little. And then after 2012, it went up. And then really the big jump is from 2015, and it just goes up crazy. And which is interesting about this is that even though Trump was in office and banned people from traveling from other countries to the U.S., they decided to go to social media. And that's why a lot of these people in the U.S. who are planted sleepers, who are already here, who are upstanding citizens, like the guy that mauled people in New Orleans, who have an army, all kind of accolades from the army, basically they had nothing on him. And that's why social media was so powerful in their movement of terror. And it's effective for them to cause their mass terrorist killings and threat. The mere threat of that is considered a terrorist attack. Like they have a thing called a bomb threat. Okay, look at the number. Look at year number 2018, 84%.
And Cap, a lot of times too, they use apps like Telegram and all of these other apps that's not even in English. So we don't know what the hell they're talking about. But you know that they planning something. So they don't just use the mainstream apps. They use apps that we wouldn't necessarily be able to use.
Right, and that's why, if you look, remember what they did with they arrested we did a show on it. They arrested the CEO of Telegram because he would not unencrypt, open up certain groups, and they had to order him. And then they were going to come for Zuckerberg. They were going to come for Elon Musk because social media is one of the problems that they were having. Now, go to the last tab, and there's another graph. Let's open the last tab, and we're going to look at this before we go to the next. We're running out of time. Okay, I had to drink something. The tech guys are bugging out. Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay, but then scroll down. There should be another graph. Scroll down. Okay, real quick. Scroll back up. We're going to look at this. Okay, I'm going to read this real quick. So the terrorist threat is from across the political spectrum. The main terrorist threat today in the United States is best understood as emerging from across the political spectrum as ubiquitous firearms, political polarization, and other factors have combined with the power of online communication and social media to generate a complex and a varied terrorist threat that crosses ideologies and is largely disconnected from traditional understanding of terrorist organization. Meaning before, without the presence of social media, they needed to grassroot it. Now it can be done across races, across all this. And that's why the next thing we're going to go into about Elon, the Cybertruck that was detonated was by a Caucasian. A Caucasian, okay? I'm going to read this. In the almost 2 decades since 9/11, 2001, there is only one case of a jihadist foreign terrorist organization directing or coordinating a deadly attack inside the United States since 9/11. Hence, social media, almost all of the terroristic acts have been done by people that were living in America, American citizens, or other categories of green card. They were here, in other words, okay? Or of a deadly jihadist attacker receiving training or support from groups abroad. That case is the attack on the Naval Air Station in Pensacola on December 6, 2019. So the one time they're saying that the guy who was not from America, that happened, and this was recently, where he shot and killed people at the military base. Now, now scroll down right there. I'm going to read the paragraph. Since 9/11, jihadists have killed 107 people inside the United States. This death toll is similar to that of This death toll is similar to that from far-right terrorism, consisting of anti-government, militia, white supremacist, and anti-abortion violence, which killed 134. So basically, local terrorism from the right, the conservative right, the far right, they have killed more people than jihadist terrorists. It's kind of interesting. So let's read on. The United States also has seen attacks in recent years inspired by black separatists, which, nationalist ideology and ideological misogyny. Individuals motivated by these ideologies have killed 13 and 17. See how they put that? So the so-called black, has killed 13 and 17. Why would you even list that? Look above with the white militias, 134. It's not even its comparison. Y'all see that? It doesn't make no sense. And those with the far left views have killed one person. America's terrorism problem is a homegrown, that's the point, homegrown, Jeremiah 51 verse 14. That homegrown is the caterpillar that God talked about. And it is not the province of any one group or ideological perspective. Let's look at the graph before we move on. It says number of people killed in deadly attacks. So the far right wing, which is basically your KKK, your white supremacist, and other abortion rallyists, killed the most. Jihadists killed the second most, and then you have ideology, misogyny, incel, and then you have black separatists, which I'd like to see the data on that. I don't believe black separatists killed 13 people. I'd like to see that, but and then the far left. So that's a graph, and you can see they showed you the years that it happened. So let's look at scroll back up. The two groups we want to look at. Let's look at the red. I want to look at the red. Let's go scroll down, look at the red line. Look at the sharp spike. See how the red line goes up? It first goes up in 2009, 2010, quick, sharp. It staggers and plateaus. But look at 2015. Look at the spike. Okay? You got to see. And during that time, remember Barack Obama, during his presidency, He had all kind of missions where we were fighting in like multiple different countries during that time. And so there's a correlation between that. I just wanted you to see the data, some of the data to show you.
Gav, I wouldn't be surprised when Trump get in office that don't spike a little bit before he try to get everybody out of the country.
That could very well happen. And I believe that, remember, the Most High is setting things up. Trump is already talking about how NATO's got to pay and what's going to make these NATO countries go to war with the U.S. There's going to be major changes the next coming years coming up, y'all. We're running out of time. We want to get to the point where there was another major terrorist attack that took place, I want to say at Trump Plaza in Las Vegas, Nevada. Pull up the next one. Is it number 7? Okay, let's pull up number 7. I thought that Mikhail put a bunch of stuff up there. Now, can we not show them because it's too graphic? Or okay, yeah, all right, disregard. If y'all tech guys can find me, I think we could show the explosion. I think we should be able to show that. They don't show any dead bodies. But let's read this and then we'll go back. So now you can read this.
Yes, sir. U.S. soldier identified as dead in Las Vegas Cybertruck explosions, reports. Details have started to emerge about the man killed in the explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck outside the Trump International Hotel, Las Vegas, on New Year's Day.
What do we see in that? There's 2 key factors that, I'll give you a hint, Mar-a-Lago. There's 2 factors in that. Y'all at home, think about it. You've got Donald Trump, which owns the Trump Tower, and Elon Musk, which is the CEO and founder of Tesla that makes the Cybertruck. Elon Musk is a big part of him rallying behind Trump for him to get to the presidency. So they're sending a message to Trump and Musk, if you didn't get that, right? Mm-hmm. Now, and the guy that he died detonating the truck, he was also a U.S. soldier, but this is different because this guy's not an Arab. He's a terrorist, and we're going to find out what he looks like. You got a video? Let's play the video, and we'll go back to the article. We're going to be done in 15 minutes. Play.
Side of the truck after we noticed the flash and the explosion, and I'm going to show you that first video. That's the Cybertruck parked right in front of the doors. I'm going to show you that first video. That's the Cybertruck parked right in front of the doors. Can you play that again, Carlos?
I have a little bit of technical difficulty, y'all.
So the individual that was in that truck is obviously deceased. Still in the truck as we speak here today. Our fire department folks, Engine 12, a number of others, you'll hear from one of the fire chiefs here in just a moment, arrived very quickly along with my officers. And obviously we knew that we had a much larger event than just a vehicle fire. And so there's going to be a drone video that plays to my left again. You'll see as the fire initially, they covered it with the tarp to try to get it to go out. Once the fire went out through the suppression efforts of the fire department, you'll see some of the evidence in the back of the vehicle. So those are gasoline canisters. They are camp fuel canisters and large firework mortars.
So you got to think about it. This guy, and now, there's a telegram that you had him reformat, Akim. I want to show this guy's face. And it's amazing because we know all about the Arab dude. And they show his face and his background. So that is, I'm glad the Most High made this preserve. This guy was he was a master sergeant, even higher rank than a staff sergeant. And he is a Caucasian white American man. So, Department of Defense access car belonging to Master Sergeant Matthew Allen Leibelsberger was recovered from Tesla Cybertruck that detonated outside Trump Hotel. That he detonated because he was in the car when he detonated it.
Mm-hmm.
So showing you that this guy is a terrorist.
Did they call him a terrorist, though, Cap? Did they call him a terrorist? Because
No,
I ain't seen him call him a terrorist yet.
But he is a terrorist. If we're going to think about it, let's be just men. If we're going to call the other guy, who was 100% a terrorist, worse than this guy is a terrorist. Okay? And that is not being talked about. And that's because we live in a country that is controlled by white media. And at the end of the day, Caucasians are considered more important than Arabs and black people. And that's why he will not be thrown under the bus like the other guy.
My question is, why did he blow himself up? I mean, he ain't had to be in that car to blow up that car. You know what I'm saying? That don't make sense to me.
Esau is a strange to figure out. Now, let's go back to was it a video? Okay.
What I also would like you to pay attention to on that video, as you see that, it looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a cyber truck really limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet, because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
Yeah, but I think that goes to the point that you said earlier. Remember that the Republicans was trying to pass a bill, and I don't think it got passed because of what his name is, Elon Musk. He not nowhere in politics, and he's saying to ban not to have that thing go through, because that was supposed to help the farmers who Trump was supposedly be in support of. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden now they got this master sergeant right in front of the Trump Towers. I think, like you said, trying to make a statement.
Oh, he made a statement, all right. And I would just like to see, this is why we know that the media is 100%. They are going, I want to see how it plays out, because why is this guy not being talked about? Why do we know his church history? Why don't we know what he did all the things that he did wrong? Why don't we know these things? Other than we know we knew about the other guy, the unit he was from, exactly what he did in the military. Why don't we know more about this terrorist here?
Yep.
Okay, let's see what they say about this guy.
Also recognize all of our exceptional elected officials that have come to support the police and the fire department and this community in remaining safe. There is no further threat to the community as I sit here today. And I just want to make sure that our community understands we believe this to be an isolated incident, and it is now over as far as the danger. So, Billy?
Oh, Cap, I got to say something on that. That is the token textbook answer when a Caucasian commits an act of violence. It's always relegated to, oh, it was just this one individual and nothing else to follow that. So everybody go home. And it's a way to stop everybody from digging deep into his background.
Right, and that's what we know, that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. They're going to protect their master sergeant. They're going to protect him. Show the video. Nobody want to look at my tired ass. I'm tired, y'all. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank you, Sheriff. I'm going to reiterate some of the stuff that the sheriff has spoken upon. Engine 12 did arrive within 4 minutes of dispatch, did extinguish the fire with assistance from the sprinkler systems, and along with that electric vehicle blanket that we use on those operations. We did encounter 7 victims, all stable. 2 of them were transported to UMC, who have since been released. They were transported by community ambulance. a total of 13 units from Clark County Fire with 26 personnel, and then 4 units and 17 personnel from Las Vegas Fire and Rescue assisted with this operation. We always do appreciate the support that we get from our hotel partners, as the sheriff was mentioning with Resorts World. RTC did lend us 10 buses so we can refuge the people that were evacuated from the Trump Tower. Community Ambulance for their transportation for us, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, and Nevada Division of Emergency Management. And we do appreciate their support, so we can't do that without them. And like the sheriff,
that there's no mention or inquiry about the terrorists that let that bomb off. So just be very mindful of Esau and how he reports things. Now, I think that was it on that.
Cap, I found something on him. He was in a special forces
Yes.
in Germany.
Pull that up because this is important.
I'm about to send it right now.
I want to know because I'm going to tell you something. In the U.S. Army, you have they go through boot camp, and then you go to your MOS school or your AIT, I think the Army calls it. Mm-hmm. And to become a special forces, Delta forces, like the top, but special forces usually means Army Ranger or Green Beret. So I want to know, if he's special forces, they're definitely not going to want to sully this guy's name.
Yeah, it's an article. Go to, scroll down, all the way down to, according to the U.S. Army spokesperson. That's it right there. Just zoom in. Where else? Read that.
Okay.
According to a U.S. Army spokesperson, Matthew Allen Libelsberger enlisted in the Army in 2006 and served until March 2011. After a short stint in the National Guard and Army Reserve, they said that Libelsberger became an active duty Special Forces soldier in December 2012. Officials said at the time of his death, he was assigned to the 10th Special Forces Group in Stuttgart, Germany. They said he was on approved leave when he died. Officials said U.S. Army Special Operations Command is cooperating with the authorities and cannot comment on the ongoing investigation.
And Cap, if you go down, show it again. It shows all of the awards that this dude got.
Oh, yeah,
Well, I want to see what he gets. If he's special forces, he might have been a Green Beret. But I want to see this. It says enlisted as an 18 X-ray, served in active duty Army from joined the National Guard. I don't care about National Guard. Where's the part where it says
U.S.
Okay, awards, Bronze Star Medal of Valor. Damn,
he got 4 of them.
Nah, I don't believe that. That's too many. No, that's not. That's bogus. He got Bronze Star Medal, 4, Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation of Medal with Valor, Army. Then he's the greatest soldier in the history of the Special Forces. Then, no, something. Scroll back up. Let me see something. Where is this? Where is this from? Let me see the source. Maybe it's true. It is from. And yes, like Zadai, to your point, they'll have you thinking this guy is the greatest person in the planet, and then in the back of the mind, maybe he just couldn't take it anymore. He did such a great service for our country with all these awards, and then they'll walk away thinking this guy's not a terrorist. He's just a lone wolf, and he just cracked. But look what he did for our country. There's something. I think this is. I call BS in this. Pull up. Google 18 X-ray MOS, 18 X-ray U.S. Army. I think that might be Ranger. Rangers are considered Tier 2 Special Forces. Green Berets are also Tier 2 Special Forces. 18 MOS. See, put right there. There it is. I want to see what that is. Special. Hold up. Is official title for Special Forces candidate. Is the program? Yep, Green Beret. Okay. This guy, well, maybe he was awarded. Maybe he just saw a bunch of stuff and got 18 X-ray is Green Beret. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. And it just goes to show you that not every Green Beret is as mentally sound as they really should be. Because why would you, to your point, kill yourself? Yeah, airborne special, that's, yeah. Okay, so let's find out if they're going to throw this guy under the bus or if they're going to protect the good old Special Forces Green Beret.
They calling it a suicide bomb. They're not calling him a terrorist. It's just a suicide bomb. When Esau blow up people and kill them, it's a suicide bomb.
You got to be kidding me. Go back to the article. So now I would like to see more. Green Beret. A Green Beret, this guy is one of the top guys. Okay, I think that's it. Is that it on everything? Do we have anything more on the Cybertruck? Okay. Pull up real quick the club shooting in New York, okay? So there was one with what happened in New Orleans where the guy drove through a crowd and killed 15 people, tragically, and injured 36 more. Another happened with the Tesla Cybertruck was blown up at Trump Towers in Las Vegas, Nevada, hurting 6 people seriously. They all made a recovery and killing a alleged Green Beret suicide bomber. Not a terrorist, not a rogue Green Beret terrorist, as it should say. If it was a black man, it would be black rogue Green Beret went AWOL. It would be something derogatory. And they list all this guy's accolades in the article. I'm sure you can't make this up. Yeah, this will work. So at the same time, y'all, okay, I believe this happened on New Year's. When did it say that happened? Okay. So like 5 in the morning, like early, like very late, 5 a.m., 4 a.m. in New York City, still dark out. So a shooting at a nightclub. Is it a video or let's play this. Can we stop showing me on the screen?
Out of New York City, these are pictures just into the newsroom of a mass shooting at a nightclub in Queens. Local media are reporting at least 11 people are injured. Heavily armed police are on the scene. This is an active situation and we'll bring you more details as they come to hand.
See if there's any, I want to know, it said hours after New Orleans. Is that what it said? Give me an article about that. We're going to close, but I want an article. I did not get a chance to get you that earlier.
Cap, do I have time to bring out one?
Yes, bring it out.
Hey, can I get Amos 3 and 6? Because we have a situation here in New Orleans, a terrorist attack. We had also Las Vegas, and now Cap is bringing up what's going on in New York. But let's see who's behind all of these things that's going on. Read what you got.
The book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid?
He said, shall a trumpet be blown in the city? Read on.
Shall there be evil in a city, and the Lord have not done it?
The Lord is behind all of it. He's leaving these breadcrumbs for you Israelites to get yourselves together because the time is short. Read on.
Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
And that's what's coming out tonight. The prophets of God are bringing out all this information so y'all can understand that the Lord is behind this and we need to get ourselves together.
That's right. And like we have to observe the time. That's why Jeremiah said, set up upon the walls the watchmen upon Babylon. So we're supposed to watch out and see what's going on. Because let me tell you something. This should be an indicator that these crowds, I'm not saying you can't ever go to the movies or things of that nature, but crowds like this, time after time. I remember there was a shooter in Las Vegas, and he was picking people off years ago. If you remember that, but we have to be very mindful about reveling and being around crowds because the Lord ultimately is going to bring judgment, and He's already started 3 times during this last New Year's Eve to the early morning of the next day. See that? Excellent.
Ten wounded in shooting outside Queens nightclub. No arrest. An active investigation is underway Thursday as police work to track down 3 to 4 men who shot at a crowd of people in Queens, leaving 10 teenagers injured. It happened outside of the Amazora nightclub on 144th Place around 11:30 p.m. A private event was taking place at the space with about 90 people inside when bullets started flying. Eyewitness News has learned the gathering was to celebrate the birthday and life of Torino Mongo, a 16-year-old fatally shot in Fort Greene, Brooklyn, last October 26th.
So they were honoring a young brother from Brooklyn, got killed, and they were celebrating his life, which is, I guess it's a party where they just were honoring him. Okay, read on.
He would have turned 17 on Wednesday. Among the panicked crowd were 6 women and 4 men between the ages of 16 to 20 who were injured in the gunfire. All victims were taken to area hospitals for treatment. The NYPD said it was a dangerous scene as about 30 shots were fired before the suspects got away in a gray Infiniti Q50 with a red interior and New Jersey plates. The car was last seen on the Van Wyck Expressway.
Is there more on that down low? Is that because I thought I heard something that about that there was some possible connection between, maybe there's not. Okay, so y'all, we have to be very, very mindful about where we. Now, I want to get 1 Corinthians chapter 6 because the whole purpose of doing these shows is, and by the way, we had a bunch of other videos, but we have to be very careful about what we can and cannot show. We had some graphic footage of the bodies, and probably wise not to show. If you're interested in looking, you can go online yourself, take a look at it. It was absolutely horrible. Blood and dismemberment and disfiguring of body parts. So it was a horrific scene, and that's why everybody in the world, to include Indian newspapers and Indian media sources, Chinese, Australian, everyone is watching New Orleans, and it's going to change the way the world is carries out public events and mass crowd gatherings, and it's going to change the whole world. All right, read.
You want verse 6 and 9?
Yes, 1 Corinthians 6, verse 9.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
Because remember, before you had revilers and people that were breaking God's commandments. So those of you at home, those of you who have friends and family, you need to explain to them, not you can do it in an educational way. Look, the reason why these things happen in New Orleans, that happens throughout these terrorist attacks, is because people are not keeping God's laws. And unfortunately, if we're in these areas, we as the Israelites, we can be affected. And it is a judgment from God. As tough as that is to say, it is a judgment of God. Read.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters.
So we should not be fornicators, which is all of sexual sins outside of the laws of marriage between husband and wife. Read on.
Nor idolaters.
Come on.
Nor effeminate.
Right.
Nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
Men cannot lay with men, and women should not lie with women. That's biblical. That's not our program. That's God's. And you have a lot of that going on in Bourbon Street. A lot of that. Read on.
Nor thieves, nor covetous.
There's a lot of theft. People get robbed all the time in Canal and Bourbon, all the time. Okay, read on.
Nor drunkards.
And you are going to find they got these things called, I think, renegades or whatever. It's a big giant drink that you don't even need a table to see. You can just go, just basically put your arm down. The drink's so tall, it's hand grenade. And it is synonymous for getting drunk on Bourbon and Canal and these places. Read on.
Nor revilers.
That's the key. Revilers are parties. We showed you the definition before. Read on.
Nor extortioners.
Right.
shall inherit the kingdom of God.
So in order for us to get to the kingdom, and we're all work in progress, but we have to have the knowledge to know we have to observe the times. Observe the times. We shouldn't be around New Year's celebration. We shouldn't be at Christmas parties. We should not be at Easter events and Halloween celebrations and Mother's Day and Father's Day and birthday parties. These are things that are of the customs of the other nations, not our nation, not the Israelites. And guess what? We are getting judged because of that. Okay, read on.
As such were some of you.
So some of them brothers, Paul said, some of you used to be like that, but then they did what? They changed. So there's always repentance open for all of our people to come out of the ways of America. Give me that, hold that, get Revelation 18, verse 4. There's going to come a time, and when you read Revelation 17, John was speaking about Babylon the Great that would be fallen, it would be destroyed. Jeremiah saw the same thing. He saw the destruction of Babylon. And now, today, we have to understand that to escape that, we got to listen to this. Read.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
And that's what the message to our people is. You got to come out of January 1st as the new year. It's not the new year. It's not. Do your research. Trust us when we tell you it's not the new year. The new year begins during the first spring new moon. That's our new year. Read on.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
And her sins are what? Her sins are dropping the ball. This is the new year. That's, guess what? And the plagues that come are judgments of God. And the ultimate plague that comes from partaking in America is going to be ICBM, or intercontinental ballistic thermonuclear headed warhead missiles that are going to destroy the whole doggone USA. And we pray that our spirit's right so that we can be delivered. Because if we don't get right, we're going to be burning right alongside with the other nations if we don't get right. And that's the scary part. Read on.
And that ye receive not of her plagues.
We don't want to receive of Babylon the Great's plagues. Read on.
For her sins have reached unto heaven.
That's the point. Her sins, does that mean that adultery is being stacked on this and that? It's like a layer of, no. It means the wickedness is so evil that the Lord is going to have to intervene. Okay? He is going to intervene, and he's going to seal the 12,000 from each tribe, 144, and then guess what? He's going to send his son back. And while that thing's going on, missiles are going to fly. The valley of Megiddon or Armageddon, all the valley, like Joel said, they're going to be gathered together, and it's going to go down. Okay? So, read on, and we're going to close out.
And God had remembered her iniquities.
God had remembered her iniquities. So, brothers and sisters, we start right at about 2 hours. I would say this. Make sure you watch the news and just don't watch CBS and ABC. Look at a variety of sources outside the U.S. I'm not saying you can't watch CNN. Some of the stuff you can use. Look at a lot of different sources. Don't just take face value everything that you see. You have to research things. I wish it could be different. Research it, find out for yourself, do a diligent search, and pay attention to what's going on around you. All right, so let's go ahead and close out and bring out what we got to bring out.
Give alms. To give at your local school, drop an envelope in the alms box. To give online via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. To give to the Booster Club via PayPal at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org.
All right, shalom, shalom. We're seeking your assistance to enhance our national broadcast. Kindly spare a minute to provide feedback by answering 5 brief questions. And you see, just use your phone to click the QR code.
And don't forget, y'all, I don't know if you could see right here, okay, right there. That is the PayPal. Donate to the Booster Club, all right? This is how we send our mighty bishops, our mighty deacons, captains, and senior officers that travel the world to teach our people. You saw the Solomon Islands. You saw various countries in Africa, South America. We're going 12 tribes all across the world. So you, Booster Club, we could not do it without you. We need your valued contributions because many of you are not able to get to a school, but you have resources. Well, guess what? The Lord gave you the blessings that he gave you so you could help the 12 tribes and the word get out. So we thank you. Thank you. Like Deacon Malachi says, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. So that's our message today. So also subscribe to IUIC New Orleans. We're still stuck at 28.5. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. Our main page, IUIC New Orleans, our Facebook, our Instagram, and even Rumble. So check us out. We are trying to grow, and YouTube does, I believe, throttle our growth. We have to understand that we are hated of all nations. So y'all stick around. Next week, Lord's will, we'll be right back at you. And stay tuned. Watch what's going on the next couple of days with both these two events, the Cybertruck and also the New Orleans tragedy. So with that, we are your host. I'm Captain Shim.
Officer Thomas.
Officer Zadiah.
With that, brothers, we say shalom.
There's a special place that I like to go when nobody's home, to increase my understanding, my daily bread that amazing. I'm talking about precepts, precept on precept, line upon line, line. Precept on precept, line upon line.